Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mark from Right Line Trading. Thank you so much for giving me your time this afternoon. And what I'd like to do is go through the Compass trading system. It's a Thinkorswim add-on, and it really uses a completely different type of trading paradigm that right now is not present on the workspace. So let me just start off with this with a mandatory disclaimer that all signals and trading opportunities provided both orally, written, or electronically for educational demonstration purposes only. Right Line Trading takes no responsibility for any profits or losses that may be incurred by traders. Everybody understands that trading is risky and you can lose a substantial amount of money. Never trade what you can't afford to lose. You can also make a lot of money. So with that risk comes the potential for profit. Always consider your financial position prior to trading. You may want to do your own due diligence, consult a financial advisor. Right Line Trading is not a registered financial advisor and not a licensed commodity trading advisor. Now, I just quickly want to give you a snapshot of my background, sort of separate me from a lot of these trading gurus that are all over social media right now. I graduated from an Ivy League university. I went to the University of Pennsylvania for 8 years. I majored in applied mathematics. When I graduated, I was inducted into the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society, which meant that I graduated in the top 2% of my class. After graduation, I became a full-time professor at Thomas Jefferson University in Philly. Jefferson's in Center City. Penn is in West Philadelphia. I published 15 peer-reviewed articles while at Jefferson, and if it wasn't for personal issues that were related to my kids, where I came down to Florida, I would still be at Jefferson. I consider myself first and foremost to be a scientist, a teacher, and an academician. I've mentored more than 30,000 traders, and I've spoken internationally in many countries. The last country I spoke at was in Manila in the Philippines. I was there at the end of March, first week in April, and I got out of there just before the COVID epidemic hit. Now, my area of focus in applied mathematics is mathematical modeling. And in mathematical modeling, we look to describe the movement of some independent variable within a closed system. And what we're looking to define in this particular case are all the forces that come to bear on price off the right edge of the chart and serve to move it either up or down. While I was at Penn, I worked with underwater decompression schedules. It was the first time that the U.S. Navy had applied computer-generated algorithms to underwater decompression schedules. At the time, they were all done just by trial and error, and a lot of the deep divers got the bends. And at Penn, they had, I think, the world's leading division of underwater physiology, and they had all these chambers where divers would sit doing underwater decompression. It's very dangerous, and a lot of these divers would get the bends and get extremely ill. Now, if you're here today, it's probably because you're having a problem trading. Now, you may make good money and you're looking to make better money. Or what I hear commonly from a lot of my traders is that they have good days and they have bad days, but what they can't gain is consistency. And consistency is really the hallmark of a professional trader. Professional traders don't make money every day, but they make money almost every day. Now, You may have blown one to several trading accounts. You may have purchased expensive software in the past that, despite promises, doesn't work. I did that in 2004. I purchased a program for $15,000. It did not work. When I complained about it, they told me that it was my own fault. I didn't know how to trade. So what I did at that point was decide that everything out there was simply a variation of everything else. There was nothing new. Traders had been busting their accounts out. 95 to 98% of day traders and swing traders go broke based on all of the analyses that are presently out there now. And what was required was a different approach to trading. So what I did was I applied my background in mathematical modeling, and now that I'm going to show you a software and a trade methodology that you've not seen in the past. Now we have 500 traders in my live trading room, and we make money almost every day. Not every day, I wish I could say. That would make us perfect. But we make really good money most days. Now, if you stay to the end, you're gonna get some nice bonuses, and you're gonna get a special secret bonus that I'll tell you about at the end. Now, everything that's out there, I just want to really briefly go over why everything that's out there doesn't really work. Because it's all based on the same underlying assumption. And that assumption was made by the Japanese rice traders 400 years ago when they created Japanese candlestick patterns. Now, everybody puts a lot of throw weight into looking at price action, at least as a component of their trading. Now, market structure and price action are two very different things. Price action is looking at essentially Japanese candlestick patterns. Now, the Japanese rice traders made the assumption that the market consisted of only small retail traders, all of equal power. Now, 400 years ago, that was probably the case. And in the stock market, that was probably the case 50, 60, 70 years ago. All of us were just tens of thousands of small retail traders. We all had equal power, and we fought back and forth 70% of the time creating chop, and then 30% of the time enough of us got together to create a trend. Now, here are Japanese candlestick patterns. Now, they really are remarkable and sort of a genius invention. But again, what the Japanese were looking at were bartering, let's say, over 100 kilos of rice. And you have 100 buyers on one side and 100 sellers on the other. But the key factor that they assumed when they created these patterns was that the power of every buyer and seller were the same. And so the bartering just went on, and they used these patterns to determine who was in control of the market at any given time, the bulls or the bears. And I'm sure back then it worked quite well. And you have very elegant patterns. I've read Steve Nissen's books a few times. I still recommend them, even though I don't believe that you're ever going to make money trading pure price action. People have been trying to do it for half a century, and I don't think anybody has made money has been successful at it. But I think that understanding Japanese candlestick patterns still gives you a little bit of a feel for what's going on in the market. But dark cloud cover, engulfing candles, shooting star, piercing candle, a doji is really not going to have much relevance in today's markets. Now, some of the more sophisticated traders and publications still use pure price action, but I'm telling you, it is never going to work off the right edge of the chart. And here's the reason, and that is that the market doesn't consist of small retail traders anymore. You have this big institutional guy or girl. And when they step into the market, and this is irregardless of the financial instrument you're trading or the time frame, they're going to move the market in the direction that they want it to go. That our sentiment in the market becomes absolutely irrelevant. If there are tens of thousands of small retail traders, they are just, their sentiment has absolutely no throw weight in determining which direction price is going to move. It's all this guy. Now, they comprise 70% of the volume of all small cap, mid cap, and large cap stocks, Forex, and futures markets. And who are these institutional guys? Well, they can be on Wall Street. They can be Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan. They could be a big bank located anywhere in the world, like HSBC, Deutsche Bank, Bank of America. They could be a mutual fund. They can be a 401k. They can be a hedge fund. Any large institution that has the ability and the money to create amazing throw weight when they decide they want to move a financial instrument in their direction is going to make all of us absolutely irrelevant. All we can do in our trading is grab hold of their shirt tails or their belt loops and trade in the same direction that they're moving price. If we try to do anything else, we're going to get stopped out, because these are the guys that create the trend. Now, I just wanted to highlight that by showing you price action on Japanese candlesticks. You can see in general it's chop. Then when the big institutions come in, and you know what they are, and they start pouring money into the markets, price is going to rise. If they start pulling money out of the markets, price is going to fall. And our sentiment, or what we think the market is going to go based on any of our indicators, is just going to be rendered irrelevant. It doesn't matter what we're trading. Right now, we're just focusing on pure price action, but it really is irrelevant. It really doesn't matter what we're looking at. Now, I just want to talk really briefly about the next step. After pure price action, you get triangle patterns, or you get channels, or you get J hooks. There are all kinds of variations of pattern trading. Thinkorswim actually will define the patterns for you if you wanted to. But remember that just like Japanese candlestick patterns, these formations are also formed by small retail traders. They are not formed by the large institutional traders. So if we see a falling triangle pattern, and traders have been trading these for 100 years, and they have never made anyone any money in the last century, most certainly in the last half century. So when you have sequential lower highs, your anticipation is a bearish trend continuation. That's all based on our sentiment as small retail traders. Now, sometimes we're going to make money and sometimes we're not, but consistency is the key. The other problem with this is we cannot make an assessment, a risk assessment. When we take an entry on a breakout, we have to make the assumption that every single falling triangle has the same power. And so if we can't somehow make a prediction as to what our risk is on entry, then we just can't take the trade. An assumption or being able to make a very, very precise risk assessment on entry is a key to trading successfully. Now, all the traders in my trading room, I always ask all the new ones, what is the #1 goal of a day trader and swing trader. And all of them always say, I'm just going to drink some water. That the goal of a day trader and swing trader is to get winners. But that is 100% incorrect. The goal of a day trader and swing trader, the goal of any trader, is to avoid losers. That's called trading with specificity. If you can sidestep losers, you can make an enormous amount of money on a small number of winners. That's why you must have the ability to make a risk assessment, because you're only going to take the lowest risk trades possible, because your goal is not to get into every trade, get into every potential winner. That's called fear of missing out, and that will bury you as a trader. If you make a risk assessment on a trade and you determine that risk is too high, and then it goes 10 or 15 bucks, or it goes 150 ticks or 75 pips, that's just the way it is. There'll be plenty of more winners, but what you're going to have the ability to do is to avoid a ton of losers. And if you can do that, you're there. Because I'm telling you, the winners are going to come flying across the room like a basketball and land in your lap like a thud. So that's our number one goal. Now, I always have traders come to me and say, you know, I take a short trade and then the market goes long. And let me tell you, just because you think there's somebody after you, and there's an old adage about being paranoid, doesn't mean that there really isn't someone chasing you. Well, I should have let this slide show the breakout to the downside. But what big institutional traders love to do is trap us as small retail traders, trading in one direction, anticipating a bearish trend continuation. That's when they're most likely to come in and blow the market to the upside. One, they're going to run us over and take our money, and that helps the trade evolve in the direction that they want it to go. So don't think that they're not watching, and don't think that they're not looking at these pattern traders, because the most likely time that they're going to take a trade in the opposite direction that the pattern predicts is when you get that breakout, and then they're going to come rocking in, and you're really going to help them out a huge amount, and you're going to get stopped out. That's why the only thing we can do is trade in the direction of big money, and all of this stuff is just irrelevant. Now, I just want to mention FIBS really briefly. I don't know if they worked 60 or 70 or 80 years ago. It's really, at this point, it's, you know, the argument is moot. Fibonacci was a 13th century mathematician. He created Fibonacci extensions. The numbers that are generated from these Fibonacci transformations are really, really amazing, and they do have some symmetry in nature. Whether they ever describe market sentiment, I don't know. But in today's market, with big institutional money really controlling the direction of price, they couldn't care less about Fibonacci. And I think this single indicator has cost more traders more money than anything else in the market. Now, and I think it's important to define for you what doesn't work before I define for you what does work. Because I want to make this an academic presentation, not just throw some indicators at you, show you their value without going into some background about what's out there and why we have such a dismal failure rate. I mean, our failure rate is horrendous. And if we look at all the other sciences And day trading and swing trading is a science. It's not an art. And if we look at the other sciences like electronics and engineering and medicine, just to name a few, if we go back 50 years, look at the incredible evolutionary process that's taken place. I mean, in electronics, 50 years ago, when I was a kid, I mean, the thought of a cell phone was just, incomprehensible, not let alone a smartphone. And in medicine, the immunotherapies, I follow FDA announcements, and I watch the small biotech companies and I'm just about to recommend one. So the advances in medicine in all of these areas of science have just been dramatic, while we as swing traders and day traders remain mired in this same failed trading methodology that's been killing traders for 50, 60, 70 years. And we're going to throw that all aside. So price action, price patterns, Fibonacci, just quickly Elliott wave and Gann, same thing. But and again, these are brilliant guys, created formulas for describing market sentiment. Elliott described a formula. He felt that market sentiment moved in a 5-wave pattern. Gann theory a little more elegant, but they did it in an era when small retail traders dominated, not when large institutions did. And the last thing I'm going to mention, as far as of historical value, and something I hope you never do again, and you're going to be taught to do it, and you're going to be offered software that's going to purportedly predict this, is call a top or call a bottom. You cannot trade a top or a bottom. Now, I've been trying to do it for 15 years, and I can tell you, after tons of pain and looking at a lot of different ways of doing it, the fact of the matter is that a top or a bottom is determined by big institutional money. And until that institutional money steps aside, that financial instrument is going to continue to rise, or it's going to continue to fall. If we look at the traditional oscillator, overbought, oversold, and then anticipate a divergence signal and try to counter trend trade the market, we're going to get crushed. And I think this is an enormous mistake. We want to trend trade in the direction of big institutional money, stick with them as long as they are present in the market. And then when they step aside, we step aside. We don't know when that's going to happen. We're not going to take a counter trend trade. We're going to step aside on the market until they come back and they drive price in a separate direction. We don't want to trade a market that's simply comprised of small retail traders like you and me, because most often all they're going to do is create chop. So if we wait for the big institutional money to step aside, try to call a top, and then counter trend trade, who knows what's going to happen, because the market is in control by all of us little peons, and what we just tend to do is just create absolute chaos and a market that's just not tradable without accruing significant risk. So I would hope that your days of calling a bottom or calling a top are over, because they're not mathematically feasible to do when they're controlled by a force that we cannot determine when it's going to step aside. Now, just to sum it all up, when this big hand comes down and grabs this candlestick, pulls it up, market's going up. When this big hand grabs the candlestick and pushes it down, the market is going to head down. All of our sentiment is irrelevant. And so I think we have to cast aside anything that we have been doing in the past if we're going to trade successfully. Now, we use three key metrics that determine money flow. We assess volatility, trend, and Laguerre momentum, but we do them in a very, very unique way, and I'm going to show you how we do each one. Now, Laguerre momentum, the Laguerre is an oscillator. It's just like Williams percent K, RSI, fast stochastic, slow stochastic. The first stochastic was developed by George Lane in 1963, and according to Google, he only traded divergence signals. And maybe in 63 that was great. But if you open up all the other oscillators and look at their formulas, they are all geared to look for divergence. Their secondary function is to track momentum. We don't care about divergence because divergence signals are going to get us run over time and time again. But the Laguerre has a much more complex formula. It's got a gamma, which we've altered. It's got multiple smoothing factors that we've altered. So we've created a unique Laguerre assessment. Now, what is momentum in the markets? Now, we know in real life, if we look at a race car going around a racetrack and it's going at a constant speed, momentum is constant. If the driver then hits the brake hard and begins to continue to accelerate, momentum rises. If he hits the brake hard, speed will continue to fall and momentum will drop. But in the markets and when we deal with price, momentum has nothing to do with speed. What it is looking at is the relationship of the close of the candle to the low. So as the close squeezes tighter and tighter to the low, we know that we're in an environment where we have increasing selling pressure. When momentum is heading up, we look at the relationship of the close to the high. And as the close continues to approach the high of the candle, we know that buying pressure is accelerating also. So that's what we look at when we look at the Laguerre moment, when we look at the Laguerre oscillator. Now, the reason that it leads price is that it's a second order derivation. It's not measuring speed. It's measuring the change in speed. And the change in speed is a second order derivative. And it's one of the only second order derivatives that we use in all of trading. Now, the next indicator, and I'm going to get to the charts, and you're going to see how this all fits together. We always want to trade in the direction of the multi-time frame trend. I'm sure that all of you right now will look at, if you're trading a 2-minute, maybe you look at a 15-minute or an hour. You want to trade in the direction of a longer term time frame. Remember, trading off of just one time frame is very dangerous, and you want to look at multiple additional time frames. So that's what we look at here with our bias indicator. Now, not only does it have a trend component, but it has a volume component. So we're looking at a trend analysis and a volume analysis. Now, here's an example. Now, here is when we can only go long because of the multi-time frame assessment of trend and volume. Here is when we can only go short, only long, and only short. So this gives us an absolute directional bias into what direction that we have to trade. And because it's assessing multiple time frames, it's a very, very powerful indicator, and one that you have to stick with if you want to be on the right side of the trade. Now, finally, is our RL trend. Now, this is the first indicator I created when I started the company, and it's the only indicator that stayed with us for 10 years. Now, when it's red, when it's down, it's dark red. When it's up, it's dark green. And when it's yellow, it defines a choppy market. Now, what it's looking at is it's looking at a combined ADR, ADX component and the trend. So remember, we want to trade a market that's got a lot of volatility. A volatile market is where our entry is likely to move a significant period, a significant distance. A market with very low volatility is a flat market, and we're unlikely to move anywhere. But we also want to trade in the direction of the trend. So I combined the two. So we have an ADR, ADX component and a trend component. Now, in the live trading room, I will never take a long trade without having a dark green RL trend. I'll never take a short trade without having a dark red, and I will not enter a trade on a yellow RL trend. I mean, that's an absolute indication for me as a risk assessment to stay away from the trade. Now, sometimes the trades go on and evolve into winners, but more often than not, they go nowhere, and you've sidestepped a loser. Now, here's how the indicator looks. And you can see right here, it's just very choppy. Here you get this great move up, and the RL trend is green. When the RL trend is flat and yellow, we never even look for a trade. Now, we're not looking at bias. We're not looking at Laguerre momentum. We're just looking at this one assessment. When it turns green, we have the potential for a long trade. And right here, when it turns red, we have the potential for a short trade. So we always trade in the direction of this indicator. Now, because it has both a trend and an ADR, ADX component, it's a very, very powerful assessment of the likelihood that your trade is going to turn out to be a winner. Now, I didn't mark this chart with what instrument we were looking at, but it really is irrelevant. It does not matter. I just wanted you to focus on this indicator itself. Now, I'm just gonna, I hate to bother you with testimonials, but I'll just give you like 45 seconds of testimonials.
Mark, the CEO of the company, just really helped me because they're not out here to scam you or get your money. They're out here to develop educated, professional traders who can consistently make money.
Whoops. Don't know what happened there. Let me just scroll back down. I'm sorry.
Done on X months can consistently make money. That is what they're about, and it has been a really great experience.
So this guy is seriously like a day trading genius. You know, I've read a lot about other systems and heard about other systems that, you know, are promised to make people a millionaire overnight. And Mark, you know, always says like, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight day trading. It's going to take a lot of years of practice, you know, but you can make good money with, you know, a low amount of hours and a lot of flexibility to where to live, where to work. So I started this about a year ago, and like I said, I worked an hour and a half, a few mornings a week, and I averaged about 75 grand last year, which is
I'm thrilled with the methods I've been taught and their amazing software. It's incredibly powerful, and I'm eventually going to ramp up to 10 lots. I don't have to worry about money for the rest of my life.
Needless to say, it's a great tool for pinpointing exit and entry strategies for getting the best trade options possible. I'm now a full-time trader.
Okay,
Dedication
I'm
is
going to
required
stop
in
there.
the learning process, but right line trading.
Now, the last person you saw is a member of the Miami Chamber of Commerce. So I'm telling you, these are bona fide testimonials from traders who are in my live trading room every day. Now, the entries that you're going to get are exact. You're going to get exact entries, and really the software pretty much configures the trade for you. The key is you're going to get a very, very low risk entry when everything aligns. Now, I'll answer all questions at the end. So if you have any questions or you've typed in any, I'm going to open the chat box and I'll answer everything. Didn't want to make this a very, very long, drawn out presentation, and believe me, I could have. Now, here's an entry on the SPY. You can see that you have the multi-time frame analysis of trend and increasing volume. You see the gear oscillator is locked at the 100 level. That takes a tremendous amount of buying pressure to do that. Now, there are two other lines here. This is the 50 exponential, and this is a proprietary exponential. I'm not going to give you the speed because it's really an exponential of an exponential. It's built uniquely for the program. Now, here's the RL trend. It's telling us that we've got volatility and we've got the trend rising, and the likelihood of taking an entry here is exceedingly low. Now, this is on a 2-minute of the SPY. It's not a huge trade, but if you leverage it with a weekly option, which we do all the time, I think I have 27 or 28 winners in a row in my options alert newsletter. And we're making money today, by the way, in the market. It's a very, very low risk entry. The key is that the RL trend must be above this blue exponential of an exponential. And you only go long above the 50, short below the 50. That's market structure. You have to have the gear in your direction. We want price, we want buying pressure accelerating to the upside, and we want that trend volume analysis also moving in our direction. Now, here are the cues. Again, it's a 2-minute, it's a $4 move. Here I have that right edge because I wanted you to see that again. The gear is locked at the 100 level. Now, for you to have that kind of buying pressure, that is a great time to take a trade. Now, the trend is above our proprietary EMA of our EMA. You can see that it's green. And you get a beautiful trade to the upside. Here's a short trade on Facebook. And these are with daily bars. So this is a big move to the downside. I'm sorry I didn't put the right, I didn't put I chopped off the the price levels, but it's a very recent move. Actually, you can see, I think from right here, it's March. And these are dailies. So this is a very, very big move to the downside. The key, though, is that the risk associated with the entry is exceedingly low. And that's what you want. Right here, you've got to move to the upside. Now, you can trade through a yellow RL trend if you're already in the trade. It's a little riskier, but you can take that risk. You can't enter on it, but you can continue up on it. Here's the E-mini. Now, this is an 8-point move on the E-mini. Again, the gear plastered at the 100 level. Tremendous buying pressure. Trend and volume, totally with you on the trade. We've got our RL trend. No, we call this our bias indicator because this sets the bias. Cannot trade against this color. And we've got a perfect entry here long. This is an 8-point move on the E-mini. Now, here's how we did here's how we're doing through 2020. We're at $180,000. I told you, I don't know the number. It's either 27, 26, 27, or 28 swing term options trade winners in a row. The last one I closed out, I'm gonna forget. I forgot. Everything is based on the analysis of our software. Now, I think it's the most powerful software and trading methodology available to the small retail trader. It will never get you caught in the wrong direction. Now, one thing I do want to add is that this alignment will never occur unless big institutional money is pushing price. There's too many independent variables associated here for just small retail traders to create these kind of configurations. To set the RL trend above this proprietary EMA, above the 50, set the bias green like this, looking at the trend in volume, to set the gear at the 100 line. We as small retail traders can never do this. What this does is it always places us in the direction that institutional money is pushing the market. And you'll see when the market's choppy, everything starts to disintegrate. You see the RL trend goes yellow, then it goes red. You can't trade short above the 50. Then it goes yellow again. There's no volatility and the trend is flat. So the chance of there's no chance here of taking any kind of trade, even though the overall bias remains to the long side. That's the only direction that we can trade. We're looking for the RL trend to turn green at a potential long. We're looking for the oscillator to start moving up sharply. We're looking for buying pressure to cause an acceleration in buying pressure. But right now we have nothing, but we know what we're looking for. We know we can't trade short until this color changes, till the trend and this proprietary EMA crosses the 50 to the downside. So we need to have perfect alignment on the short side. And we're not going to get caught up in any of this chop, any of this retracement, or any of this price movement. And this is why we're going to conserve our money, because we have nothing to trade here. And this is what you're going to see over and over again in a market that is not pushed by big institutional money. Now, I really would like you to cast aside the stuff that's out there in which that 95 to 98% of day traders and swing traders use. Now, the only money that you could take home at the end of the day is the money from other small retail traders. Now, I consider us to be a small trading family of small retail traders. And our job is to run over the other small retail traders who are caught in the counter trend direction, trading against the direction of big institutional money in an environment where the market is just chopping. There's no bias. There's no trend set by the big institutions, and we're going to run them over. We can never take money from the big institutions. They set the trend. The best thing that we can do is ally ourselves with big institutional money and try to run over every other small retail trader that's out there. We have a very, very supportive community of traders. We meet together and we discuss our trading. You're going to become a member of that community, and we support each other because we know the only traders that we can use to fatten our wallets and build our trading accounts are these other small retail traders. Now, 95 to 98% of them have been going in the direction in that slide. I hate to say it. I'd like to say that 95 to 98% of traders were going in that direction 60 years ago. And now 20% of traders are going in that direction. But that number hasn't budged in half a century. And unless you put aside the trading methodology that you've been taught, in all likelihood, it's going to take you down that direction. And I don't want you to go that way. Now, this workspace is very intuitive. Now it is an add-on to Thinkorswim, and Thinkorswim has a million additional indicators. You may find a couple of them helpful. I'm not going to be dogmatic about what we have, but I think what we have is the key to becoming consistently successful. When that RL trend rises above that proprietary exponential of an exponential, and it's green and everything's in alignment, and your bias is green, and you're trading close to the 50, the likelihood of getting a winner is exceedingly high. The likelihood that price moves against you is incredibly low. It's perfect for any size account because you can trade futures, Forex, stocks, options. I take all my options trades off of Thinkorswim. You could trade the micros on futures. It takes very little money to trade a couple of lots on Forex. I didn't put any Forex examples up, but I'll tell you, they look exactly like stocks and they look exactly like futures. They trade exactly the same. I like to trade a 2-minute on all of these instruments as a day trader. I don't care how volatile the instrument is. I like a 2-minute. Now, we're offering an extra special discount and additional services to the first 25 traders who come aboard. Now, we're only going to sell 25 packages, and that's it. Now, if you want to lock in being one of those 25, and the system is of any interest to you, and you put price aside for 1 minute, and you put your name and phone number into the chat, and you come aboard, you become one of those 25 traders. Otherwise, you may lose out on it. Now, let me take that back. I actually misspoke. We're going to sell 50. 25 though will come with these additional services and an extra special discount price. The second 25 will not. Now Rory will call you. He's really a super nice guy. We're not telemarketers, and the reason we're asking for your permission to call you is because we don't want to bother anybody that A, doesn't have a real interest in the software, and B, we just don't like to bug anyone. I mean, our business model, we don't call a person. So that's why we're asking for your permission. But you will, if you come aboard, be one of the first 25 who get the extra special editions. Second 25 will not. That's our phone number if you're interested in it. And now I'll review the offer with you. Now everyone gets a rapid results quick start guide. If you have the technical savvy, you can configure the workspace on your own. If you don't, Sergio will do a white glove installation. He'll do everything for you. And he'll format it for you on multiple charts for you, multiple time frames, whatever you want. He'll do the configuration. He's got a master's degree in computer programming. I mean, the guy is really brilliant. He's a genius. And he's always here if you have any issues. Now, we're all here. So you're going to get unlimited VIP support. And I think it's really important. I listen to a lot of other people's webinars. And after the webinar is over, if I call with a question about the software, I oftentimes get an answering service or voicemail. If I call with a buying question, I get a call back in 10 seconds. If I call with a question about the software, I never get a call back. We're always here to help you, and I'm always here to support you. And like I said, I consider you to be one of our trading family, and my goal is to make you a profitable trader. Now, it's a cliche, but trading success does equal financial freedom. I'm not going to, you don't have a commute, which is real true. I mean, you don't waste your time. I mean, during COVID, you can still make money. You work from home. I mean, it's just a lot of blessings that come with mastering this science. And if you have patience and diligence, you're going to be able to do it. Now, I just wanted to show you, I pulled this up. I don't know what the problem is with it, but I just wanted to show you. Oh my gosh, it just disappeared. Oh, here it is. I mean, here's a trade on NVIDIA. And this is off of a live chart. You can see right here is where you can get into the trade. And there's the move down. Those two little yellow dots will not take you out. And then when the price starts to bottom and flatten, you're out of the trade. Now, this is a very, you have to wait until the bias goes red right on this candle. So essentially, this is your entry candle right here. You enter, look at the Laguerre. The Laguerre is been flattened at the 0 line. There's tremendous selling pressure. We know that the trend analysis, the multi-time frame trend analysis and volume analysis down, and we have our volatility trend, which is way below the EMA of our EMA, and we're in right here and down we go. This is what we look for on a short trade, and these develop all the time. They're constantly present, and you can see as we move across this trend line is yellow, and we just will never take a trade here. Now, this is after hours, but even if there was to be any kind of move, as long as this is yellow, we are not going into the trade. Now, that's me, and that's my son, and those are his two buddies, and I'm a single dad. I raised my son by myself. I have no family here in South Florida. As everybody in the office knows, I cook his food. I drive him to school. I do his laundry. I make his bed. Hopefully the time will come when he'll make my bed, but it hasn't come quite yet. But the blessing that I get from having mastered this science is that I get to be a hands-on dad. And I have a really, really wonderful relationship with my son. Now, we just come out of eating Chinese buffet. I don't know how he got a Japanese lei, but you can see they're all happy because they're fed. That's all you have to do with a kid. Just keep them fed, and they're usually pretty good. Now, the investment's only $997 per year. Now, you don't have to enter the promo code, but I wanted to make it even better for you guys, for you traders to come along. And for the select few of you who come aboard in the first 25, what we're going to do is we're going to knock off that per year. For $997, you're going to get the lifetime ownership. If anything happened, I mean, we're going to give you a lifetime license. It's never going to expire. Now, you also get free updates and add-ons for life. Now, after the first 25, if we make a really significant improvement in the software, and we never have a static workspace, because what I do is based on mathematical modeling, and mathematical modeling is never over until you've perfectly defined that independent variable that you're looking at in the closed system. In our case, it's price. And until we can perfectly determine every force that comes to bear on price so that we can predict the movement of price in the market, our job isn't done yet. So we're constantly looking to make the software better. So the workspace is never static. We're always looking to add upgrades and add-ons, and you will get those free of charge. And that's the first 25 out of the 50 we will sell. Now there's 300 plus people in the trading room. So I just want to let you know, you do not have to enter the promo code. Now everyone's going to get, I mean, it's not such a special secret, super secret gift, but you're going to get my Trader's Aptitude Accelerator ebook. I spent a lot of work on it. It's 20 pages. I had it professionally done. It is not a throwaway. It's a really, really good ebook, and it's going to teach you about our trade methodology, what we look for on a trade, and it really focuses a lot on stocks and options, how to best configure an options trade on an underlying stock. And we do a lot of work in that area. I mean, you know, taking a weekly options trade, sometimes the best trade with the lowest risk is not necessarily just buying an at-the-money call or buying an at-the-money put for a short. Every now and then, a slightly more complex option configuration will significantly mitigate your risk and limit your upside very, very little. So options configuration is really extremely important. And we're going to be, you know, we're going to start to work on iron condors, which I haven't taken many of, but I happen to really like. So let me see if there are any questions. Hello, everyone. Hey, whoops. Let me find the questions. I'm sorry. Hey, everyone. Hope you all had a really happy holiday. Hey, good afternoon, Robert. Screw the disclaimer. You're really funny, Robert. He goes, I follow your stuff. You will profit. One of the biggest success stories. That's from one of the guys in our trading room, Robert B. Mark, you may want to change the spelling of beta to beta. Thank you, Mark. I'm a terrible speller, I have to tell you. In college, I never took it. I think I took one English course. So I'm a really, really lousy speller. Was the program you affiliate out there? Yeah, I mean, you know, we will promote Vantage Point from time to time. You know, they've asked us to, and I'm not going to comment any further than that. And you're right, it's to avoid losers. Hey, Abe, now you should have audio, okay? Thank you, Robert. Hey, Mark. I thought transistor radios were great. Let me tell you, I used to listen to all the baseball games on this little transistor radio. I saw some guy claiming he could do it ridiculously between fractal energy and FIBS, and pretty much lost interest because I've seen how big money can blow it right out of the water. Print and blowing RSI out of the water. You're right, Robert. Completely right. Hey, Mark B. Yeah, Mark, you're right. It is a game of musical chairs. It's a game of sector rotation, of moving their big investors moving their money from stocks to T-bonds and treasury notes to precious metals to cryptocurrencies. Every day there's some sector rotation. Today it looks like risk is on, and the last time I looked, the market was up really strong, and we had a small cap up 19%. Hey, Mary, great presentation. But is this the same system yourself? It's a variation of NinjaTrader, Mary. And the Thinkorswim platform has unique language. So all the indicators pretty much do the same, but if you'll notice, we couldn't do background bias. We had to change the bias to a bar located below, and we added a volume component. So because of the way the platform itself works, there's really a significant, you know, the indicators do the same, because that's what I believe is going to help you make money. I hope. Yep, force equals mass times acceleration. Yeah, I do, Robert. That will be great. Show a live chart of Forex. Sure, Mary. What Forex? Let me put up. Let me put in. Let's put in the GBP. The GBP. We'll put in the GBP USD. Now hold on, because what I have to do when the chart first comes, it comes a little bit squashed, and I'm just going to pull the price apart here. Not changing anything, because there's nothing to change. But I have to separate the bars because they come really tight. And I'll show you the chart. That's definitely a very, very reasonable question. Hang on 1 second here. Okay, hang on 1 sec. I mean, I can show you the instrument. It's right here. But for some reason on the Forex, this is the GBP JPY, we're not getting the color change on the RL trend. And I don't know why. We have it here. We're just not getting it. And I think Sergio can fix that. See, here's the green going up. And it may be that it's just reading it all as chop. Let's take a look. See, this is just not, I mean, there's something wrong with it. You see, this is a gorgeous move down. And I can get Sergio in here to find out. Let me see if we've got, yeah, see, all 3 colors are activated. And I don't know why. Hey, Sergio, can you come in for a second? I don't know why we're not getting the color. I'm sure it's something pretty minor. Sergio, this is a Forex pair, and for some reason the RL trend is staying yellow. You look at it? Okay, all right. All right, I mean, he has to look at it. I do not know why it's not showing the color. I promise you, you will when you get it. But you can see these terrific moves that you get on this instrument. We can follow it. See, this is all chop, and this is probably a terrific move down. This, I mean, the way this looks, got a flat RL trend, and then it plummets. So you're going to get multiple entries on the pound yen. Here's another great entry right here. The key is the trend is below that 15 EMA, that EMA of an EMA. Now, I don't know why it's not coloring red. It should be, but you know, Sergio will fix that. It's a show study, show plot names. Don't know why. I really don't. Let me just see. No, don't know. But it will work. Trust me. But that's how it looks. Now, you know, you have a potential long right here. A lot of nice trades here, and a lot of nice volatility on the pound yen. Sorry about the color of the trend, but believe me, that will be fixed. When you get it, it'll work perfectly. I just wanted you to see a chart. You know, I had no idea what it was going to show, Mary. Yeah, you got it. What are the best 12 pairs? Well, I'm not, Jim. I'm not going to go over that here. Mary, we have a version on NT8. It's just a slightly different version. It does the same thing. Only NT8 has it configured slightly differently. Now, Robert just wrote, I have 28 options trade winners in a row. Number 44 through 72 are winners, and 72 is my last trade. Is this the same money flow tracker? No, this is quite different, Sharon. This is really quite. quite a bit different. Hey, Joseph, does the right line package on NinjaTrader contain more info than the system on Thinkorswim? Yeah, it contains a little bit more, Joseph. Remember that, I mean, I want to be honest with you. I don't want to mislead you. And I want to start a relationship with you. I don't want to start it by always being honest. I could, say no, they're the same. The NinjaTrader platform is a little bit easier to configure. This took Sergio an enormous amount of time to code because Thinkorswim is just not an easy platform to configure external add-ons. They just don't want you to do it. And they don't offer you any technical support. They blow you off. NinjaTrader does offer you some technical support. So there is a little bit more information, but the key core system though, Joseph, is really identical. The oscillator, the bias, and the RL trend are really the keys to the program. And those are the things that determine the direction we trade. And the color of that RL trend and its relationship to the EMA of the EMA are really what determine our great entries. The blue line, that's the EMA of the EMA, Jim. Hey, Mark. Well, I just really kind of did. It's right here. Unfortunately, I do not have the color, which is a little bit on the, but you can see right here. I mean, you have a stellar trade. Now, this is not a small trade on the Forex, and it's just a perfectly configured trade. I mean, you're in on this trade. You're flat here. You have nothing here. Here, the trend is above the 50. You have nothing here, nothing here. And here is potentially your next long trade right here. Now, when the market sets up, it's going to give you nice trades. And I'm sure this isn't the best trending instrument. Look at this trade. I mean, this is just fabulous. Now, you don't have to exit on the yellow if you're in the trade. It's really up to you. With everything else going for you. I mean, I think it's kind of risky to stay in personally with the Ligier moving against you. But you still have a very nice trade right here. Here's a real small trade. Well, actually, you can't really take it here. You can take it here. No, you can't. You have to take it here, and this is too far off the trend. That's a flat. See, if I had the color, it would be a lot easier to show. This looks like a nice short trade. Now, it's not going to be a huge trade, but it's going to be but you're going to make money. That's all that matters. And we're looking at the Forex. The Forex is not exactly on the pound yen. See all this chop? Never going to trade it. Now, I don't know the color of the trend here. You're probably going to catch the trade right here. I'm telling you, this is always going to put you in the right direction. Just make sure you have the Ligier with you on the trade. Now, as long as it's between 80 and 100, you're good. And make sure the bias is in your direction. And you're going to get very, very few losers. You're not going to get zero losers, but rarely will you get a loser. And I'm just going through the charts here. So that's exactly how it works. Now, if we got a better trending market, the trades would look even better. But I think that really very well defines how it's going to react in a market that doesn't have a lot of trending capability. Hey, Darren, what time is your trading room open? 9:30 a.m., Darren. Jeffrey, you'd have to call Rory, okay? Because I couldn't tell you that. I just don't know. I'm sure he'll give you a nice discount, for sure. Can it be used for stock? Absolutely, it can be used for stocks, futures, or Forex. It has absolutely, it does not make any difference what you're looking for. Now, that's our next upgrade, Mark, and that's what we're going to be adding at some time in the very near future. We don't yet have a scanner on the Compass software, but we're going to be adding one. And that's what those first 25 traders are going to get. And they're going to get that for free. So when everything is aligned and everything is set up perfectly, you're going to get a buy alert on a scanner. Hey, Skype. Okay, great, Scott. Thank you for your number. Thank you, Cliff, for your number. Thank you for your number. Thank you for your number. Thank you for your number. Thank you. Yes, Paul. We'll call you and we'll talk to you about that. Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you, Stacy. Hey, Rory, please see email I just sent you. Would appreciate if you discuss my situation. Sure, Rory will take a look, Lou. Hey, Phil, thank you. If you're ready home, yeah, don't worry about that, John. Hey, Jeffrey. Yes, you just call Rory about that, Jeffrey. The cost of Thinkorswim itself, Darren? Well, remember, Thinkorswim is a brokerage which provides you with this charting tools, with these charting tools. So, I mean, you can open up an account on Thinkorswim for $100, and you get the data feeds for nothing. So you can just have that money sit there from now till doomsday and pay nothing. So basically, the cost of Thinkorswim itself, if you don't trade it, is zero. You're just going to have to sock some money in the account, but they're not going to dock you a dime unless you trade, and you're going to get a full data feed. And then if you want to learn how to actually use Thinkorswim, they're terrific. You'll make an appointment with one of their Thinkorswim experts. He'll spend a couple hours with you. It's a tremendous tool, especially for configuring options. Oh, thank you, Edward, thank you for your number. Thank you. We have about 40 numbers already. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. You're very kind. Hey, Gary. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Ray. Hey, Brad. No, this is the core system, and this is a rollout, Eric. We've never offered this before. This is not an update. What we're going to give you, though, is the software that I showed you for life. And then any upgrades, like we're going to add a scanner. You're going to get that scanner at no additional charge. Anybody else who comes aboard after the first 25 is going to have to pay us a fee for the scanner, because they don't get free upgrades and add-ons for life. You do. So as we make the platform and we add things on, we're going to give those, we're going to give those to you for free. Thank you, Ramesh. Appreciate. Robert, we're going to make the scanner. I honestly do not know about the back testing, because remember, there's no specific entry. I mean, it's clear that about 10% of it is discretionary. I mean, we don't have a triangle entry or a dot entry, so it's really difficult to back test. Listen, if you put up any instrument and go back 20 days, you're going to find it's very tough to find a loser. Hey, Corey. We will give you a call, Corey. No problem at all with that. Thank you, Brett. Is this a promotional code? You don't need the promo code. We didn't configure it in. I mean, it's because it's $9.97 for everybody. It doesn't make any difference when you come aboard. So there was no need for a promo code. The only reason for the promo code, you know, a lot of these, now we're going to charge $2,000 for this program on the website. And, you know, we could have put in 2,000 and then you put the promo code in and it drops it to $9.97. And I just told Rory not to bother. I mean, we don't need the promo code. We are going to charge twice as much money, and it is 50% off. And people will buy it off the website. Tom, I trade futures in the morning. I mean, I trade the E-mini and the NQ. So with the TOS Compass, no, it's not an automated system. It's a discretionary system, Robert. Hey, Austin. Yeah, if you do, Austin, just give us a call or give us your email address and we'll contact you and we'll talk to you about that. There's a lot of traders here too. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Salvador. We're going to be adding the scanner, Shalendra. Sergio's, I'm whipping him with the cat of nine tails now to do it. Okay, great, Salvador. Thank you, Lauren. We will call you. If you know nothing about options, Darren, when you're done with me, you will know everything. Well, I'm not going to say you're going to know everything, but you're going to know a lot. I mean, there's a key to the way that I trade options, and it's unique, and it's using unusual options activity the way it should be used, not the way most of these crazy people use it. I mean, unfortunately, I have to tell you, the bad news on UOA, as I call it, is that it's got to be done by hand. And I spend an hour to an hour and a half every day going through about 150 unusual options activity alerts. I get in my email from my data feeds on Benzinga and Options Monster. The only way to trade, there's no scanner that can pull it out for you, but I consider it a key component to trading options. It's got to work. Your option has to set up technically on the underlying stock. But without unusual options activity, you have no catalyst. So without a catalyst, you can run into a lot of trouble. And I'm telling you, these insiders, these big traders who plunk down $2 or $3 million on a call position, they know something we don't. And those are the kind of traders I like to follow. Well, when we give you this, when you come aboard, Paul, we're going to give it to you for Thinkorswim. You do have a PayPal credit option, Howard. Hey, Rory, Would you put the PayPal link in? What? No, I'm saying, could you put the, you know, the email address? What? It's in the chat box, Howard. So you should see it. No one answered the phone. If no one answered, Paul, it's because Rory's on it. I mean, the phone hasn't stopped ringing. Just give it about 10 minutes, okay? We've got 2 lines and they're both blinking. So we're here, and if you just give us 10 minutes, it should clear. I would give you Rory's cell because he uses it all the time, but I don't want you to call his cell when he's on the other line. But just give us about 10 minutes. Do you also have a scanner? The scanner we're going to add, Dan. I knew you guys would want a scanner, and you're going to get it as a free upgrade and add-on, or you'll pay a modest price for it. Thank you, Sean. And look, listen, Hans, this is a time frame independent, instrument independent force. It doesn't make any difference what time frame you use. I just chose a 2-minute. I would have to reconfigure every indicator if I go to a different time frame, but you can use a 5-minute, a 15-minute, a 1 hour, a daily. It is irrelevant. As long as institutional money is still moving price, it is absolutely unimportant what time frame you use. Remember, I use this software to configure options that sometimes last 3 and 4 months. I mean, some of my options trades are fast, and some of my options trades are not. So any time frame will work. What is your usual time in the trade? Paul, I'm telling you, it can be anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 or 3 minutes. Well, if it's a 2-minute, it's probably going to go. I'm thinking of Unarenko, but on a 2-minute, you're probably going to go probably about 5 or 6 candles. So that's going to be about 12 minutes. Well, we'll call you William, and Rory will take care of that. Robert, we will do. I will get to you. I promise you. I promise you. Having trouble with your links. I clicked on add to cart, but nothing happens. Hold on one sec. Sharon, a whole bunch of orders have come in, so we know the link is working. Why don't you just click it out and come back in and try it one more time? But Rory said, the orders are, we've got quite a few orders. So the worst case scenario is just give us a quick call, and Rory can enter the order for you. I mean, he really is a super nice guy. Absolutely, Dan, we will send you the recording. It absolutely works for daily charts and swing trading, most definitely. And it is recorded, and you will get it. This is really the TOS version, Eugene, of really our trading methodology on NinjaTrader. It is. That is correct. Listen, we only have one methodology, Eugene, and that is to trade in the direction of big money. If you'll notice, we don't care about rising or falling triangles. We don't look at Japanese candlestick patterns. We don't care about any of that. We're trading in the direction, as long as our indicators align, we know that big money is moving them. I mean, that's never going to change. And you know, we had a version on Sierra charts, but we just let it go. But we're going to be making the Thinkorswim version even more sophisticated. You know, we're going to continually add on, and we're going to be adding on the scanner. Hey, my last newsletter, man, you better get into that stock, Robert. I'm telling you. I'll just tell everyone in the room. I'll give you a gift. You know, I don't normally recommend microcaps because it's really not part of my alert service. But I've been reading a lot about, you know, I read that ticker every day, and I just get so much information that with the market, who the heck is it? It's up a lot. Hang on one second, I'll find it. So, you know, we're short Beyond Meat, and Beyond Meat is down $8 today. And how did I find that short on Beyond Meat? Unusual options activity. I mean, there are an enormous number of traders buying puts on Beyond Meat, and we are up a ton on it. Better Life is the company. It's only $1.30. And it's the company, it's the #1 company for cloning food. They take one cell and they turn it into an entire side of beef. And it's a brand new technology. And I believe this is a company that's gonna, you know, take us into the future. BETRF, Better Life Pharma. Now, how the stock that was up 19%, it is sort of fallen back. I don't know why it was up, but I'm not going to, I don't want to, but Better Life, BETRF, is really a good stock. Okay, hey, Brad. Yeah, though this is the price for the software, Brad. This is for these indicators go on Thinkorswim. That's what, when it's configured on your charts, you're going to see exactly the same thing. Only the trend is going to have color. And I just don't know why it didn't transfer over when I switched instruments. But Sergio will be right on that. He'd be doing it now. And I just don't know why it's not. But he'll figure that out. But that's what you're going to get. This is the platform. No, Eugene. We're staying. I mean, I'm going to stay where we are. But I know that a lot of traders really like Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim's a really great platform. And remember, that's how I trade all my options. And I've really never been able to use the software on it. So it just gives me a little more configurability, which I like. What is it? ACY, Mark? Let me look. Now, if it's a little micro cap, 2 minutes, maybe a little bit too. Hang on a second here. I assume that's it. Looks to me like you would have gotten it, but let me, see, I don't know why I have to do this, but yikes. Hold on. I think I might have opened it up a little too much, but I'm going to get it. Because I saw a really nice move. Let me squeeze it a little bit here. There it is. And there's your trade right there. I would have given you the all hands on deck entry right there. Look at the oscillator. It's sitting, I mean, when those trades are sitting at 100, and if you look at it, if I go to the drawing tools right here, and I just pull up a line, you see how price here is just flat? It's a flat line, but look at the oscillator. It's going up like that. So momentum is rising. Buying pressure is intensifying, but price is just sitting there. And it's sitting in a perfect position. So you can see that it's predicting an explosive move to the upside. Everything is happening before price moves. In fact, when this crosses the 80 line to the upside here, right here, you still have price sitting there, thumbing its nose at everything, and then explosion. So it would have. You would have been in that trade. That's a tremendous opportunity. Because when you see price moving sideways with a green trend, RL trend, and green bias, and the oscillator heading towards 100, and price is just sitting there, grab it, because it's going to explode to the upside. And you can see that on ACY. You would have gotten almost this entire move. I mean, if you got in here, anywhere in here, you would have gotten in about 8, and you could still be in the trade. Nothing's changed. Look at the oscillator. It's still locked at 100 with tremendous buying pressure. So you're in good shape on this trade. I can tell you that. So you absolutely would have gotten it. And the software could have embarrassed me, but that's what we got. A terrific trade. Hey, Rory, the order site's very, very slow. Is there anything we can do about that? You know, Jeff, you could just give us a call or just hang in there. I'm sorry about that. You know what it is? It may be that other people are on it and slowing it down. If you just have a little patience, it'll take your order. And I'll just make a note that if you're not one of the first 25, I'll put you in that 25. Okay? Because I don't want the slowness of the website to change any order. The system, yes, Dan, but first I want to perfect it on Thinkorswim. Dan asked me about TradeStation. That's not a tough platform to use, but I want to bring in, I want to add the scanner. There's a few more things I want to add to the platform. a few more, just some bells and whistles to it, and really get it, really bring just a few more things over. Very. Lou, just give us a call, okay? And okay, we will call you, Lou. Well, I'm not going to show another Forex, Dan, because I mean I'm running into my second hour, and this is only supposed to go from 1 to 2. So I mean, trust me, if one Forex pair looks great, they're all. I mean, if you get a trend in any of these, and you just saw what happened on this move, I mean, there are very, very few webinars where they even let you even near their live software or just take random suggestions from traders. I mean, I want to be exceedingly transparent with you on this, and you see this. I mean, I wish this was a move I caught. Now, when we have the scanner, this will not be a move that you will lose as long as you have ACY in the scanner, because you have to set what stocks it's going to be looking at. And all of a sudden, the color came back to the trend. So what can I tell you? Look how flat this stock was. And there's a really nice move up. And you caught that move too this morning. Holy God. I don't know when this was, but this is another perfect entry. Again, the oscillator locked at 100. The trend separation from the EMA of the EMA is beautiful. And you can see how we go yellow when we lose momentum and we lose volatility on the trade. I mean, it telegraphs it to you. I mean, you can really see it now. Price is moving, how price is flattening out. But it's also eventually reflected in this long yellow line here. It doesn't go anywhere. So this is some stock. Just give us a call. Caesar, in their totality, they're telling you money flow. In other words, all of them in their totality will not align unless big institutional money is driving price. There is no money, there's no such thing as a money flow indicator. That's the problem. What we have to do is use proxies for money flow. And that's really what we've grabbed hold of. I'm just not going to do another one, Robert, just because we're running so late. The link should be in the chat window, Salvador. Close window and try and link again doesn't get me to website, and keep spinning and spinning. Wonderful. Hey, hold on one sec. Sharon, your order came through. So I'm looking at 209 and it's 248. So your order did come through. And thank you for coming aboard, by the way. So it's slow, but it's working. Hey, Gary. Yeah, we will give you a discount, Gary, but this is a completely different system. Completely different. I mean, we're not even on the same platform. Hey, Brad, can you show today's SPY? Sure. That I will put up. And I just got, I don't know why I have to do this, but whoops. I got to pull this tool all the way over. And then I got to spread spread it apart. And then I'll bring it over. We'll take a look. Okay, here's the SPY. See, again, the color of the trend is going in and out. Let's look at the whole day. So let's squeeze this a little bit. This is today's. And so you can't get that trade right there. You don't get that change to all the way over here. And remember, we never worry about missing a nice move, and that's a nice move. Otherwise, it's really very flat here. Now, this could have been a trade. I don't know for sure what color this is, but there's really nothing great here on the SPY today, on the 2-minute. Really nothing spectacular here. Pretty flat. Now, I'm sure that the market gapped up this morning, big time. So this is pre-market. And this was Friday, and here's pre-market. I don't see that much of a gap. Oh, there is a gap, actually, from 369 about 372. Let me see where the NASDAQ. Let me see where the SP. Well, I'm not looking at the SPY, but that's it. There's just not much. Really not much. Would help if we had the trend, but I'll have Sergio look at that. I don't know why it's not giving us a color, but there's the spot. I mean, you've got long bias all the way, but you can see the oscillator, which is moving up and down. Buying pressure and selling pressure are just changing. We don't have it locked long or locked short for any period of time. See, here really was your long trade, but we just did not get the bias in time. Even here, just a little slow, but that was really the only trade there was. So not much. That's overnight. That's right at the close. That is a terrific move. Let's see. See, this could have been a really great long trade. Not a big trade. Right here. It's not that much on the SPY. This is pre-market. So just not that much. If it ain't there, it ain't there. Okay, the link isn't working. I hope it is now, Eugene. Let me ask Rory. Just hang on 1 second. Eugene, try it now, because the orders are coming. I think we've got too many people on the link, but it's operational. It may take a little bit of time, but give it some time. Yeah, Rory said also you can type your number in. He'll give you a call and take your order in 30 seconds. Yeah, just Jeffrey, just give us your number. Rory will call you and take your order. I don't know why it's slow. I really don't. Does your soft? I wish I knew why I was. The only thing I can think of is we've got 4 or 5 people trying to access it at the same time. Give you an arrow or another signal. It does not give you an arrow, Dan. Now we're going to work on an arrow entry. That's another thing that we're going to do. That's a little bit off into the future, but we're going to give you an arrow entry when everything aligns on a perfect trade. We're going to bring the revolution system over to thinkorswim. Hey, Mary. Sergio will start configuring everyone tomorrow morning. You'll all get it before we close up for we're here all day. We're here all day tomorrow, all day Wednesday, and we're here a half day on Thursday. He's just going to line everyone up and then take care of it. We do have a version on Ninja. Thank you, Salvador. Appreciate your number. Well, Compass, it's impossible to compare, Dan, because they're doing the same thing. They're performing the same task. And I really have not really done a head-to-head. It is recorded. Okay, I don't think that's okay. Hey, David, what platform do you use in the trade? Okay, toss bias. It does have a volume component, Jonathan. No, it does not. We were able to add that volume component in because thinkorswim allows us to. NinjaTrader doesn't. So we made that bias component a little more powerful by adding a volume component to it. We can't do it on Ninja. So we have to work with platform constraints. And I'll tell you, Sergio spent a couple of months studying the language on thinkorswim to get this up and running. Mark would agree that thinkorswim initial margin requirements don't accommodate small traders. I think their margin requirements, Gary, for day trading stocks is the same as everyone. I mean, I've been with thinkorswim 23 years, and so I just get a really big discount. I do know this, Gary. If you become a member of thinkorswim, your commissions will fall. Now, I thought they fell to 0, but they don't. But they're going to be very small if you. Now, I don't know about margin requirements. I just don't know, Gary. Remember, if you want to trade an option off a stock, I just don't know what the cost is, because I pay very little and I take all the trades online. I rarely call a broker. And if you take the trades online, but I think we're talking about 2 different things, and I think it's my fault. You're talking about margin requirements. And honestly, I just don't know, Gary. Sure, Sharon, just give me, we're going to be here for about a week, but I'll put it up. Hold on. I don't mind. No, miraculously, the colors come back. Well, we'll go through the whole day and we'll take a look. Okay, here's the session. Now, here's your first short trade right here. You take it here. You've got the trend below the exponential. Bias, red. Laguerre locked at 0. And you're going to get this move down. Whoops. Well, there's my drawing tool. Still don't know how to use it. Here we go. On an option, it's a nice move. It's not a huge move. Let's keep going. Look at that trade. Right there. Trade number 2. Again, huge trade? No. Winner? Absolutely. And it's a nice trade. And we're going over everything here. I'm not picking it apart. Oh, that wasn't even the right day. I'll keep going. We've got nothing here. Oh, let me just go to a recent day. I don't want to be looking back 500 days here. Let's look today. Now here is your gorgeous trade. And you see, here's the same thing you get. I'm just going to, when your price is moving sideways, the oscillator is rising, you know the price is about to explode. You've got, you can enter here, you can enter here, and here's a really nice move up. This is another potential right here. Now, here's the nice thing. I showed you one winner, a really nice winner. I stayed away from this trade because we don't have background bias. And I'm not gonna walk you into a trade just because I want to stick winners in your face when we don't have them. And there's just no losers. I mean, there's just no way that you can go and take a trade anywhere here. Now, this move, there's no way, just because this turns green, you're going to take it. You're going to take these trades off support. And you see how the trend is above our exponential, It's got to be that way. So you're going to get 3 trades, 3 winners. One of them is going to be a very nice trade. You leverage an at the money weekly here, you're going to make really nice money. And this is a very short, it's only a 2-minute of Netflix. So, and I'm telling you, you can see how the oscillator, because it's a second order derivation, leads price. Price is sideways and the oscillator is rising on sideways price. If you see that, the first green dot you get on the trend, when that candle closes, you take it. I mean, you're more than likely to get a very big move up. We saw that with that small stock. I think it was ACY. Same thing here. Those are your big moves. Okay, Sharon? Now, I'm not going to show any more instruments. Not because I don't want to, not because I'm hiding anything, but simply because We're going into 2 hours. And that's all. There's a replay, Eric. Don't worry. Okay, good. Can the software be back tested? Well, see, here's the thing. The back testing, Robert, there's no absolute entry. We're going to create that entry. We're going to give you what's called a revolutions entry. Until we do, it's hard to back test because there's no absolute entry. Every entry, I'm being honest with you, every entry is discretionary in a sense of the word. But you can see if you're just get familiar with the software, you're going to see these trades coming. And when you see sideways price action, trend line green, bias green, oscillator is stoking right up to 100, and price is moving sideways, get in. This is on Thinkorswim. It doesn't matter, either one. Jeff, what is the price for owner of Ninja Program? It's $9.97, Eric. Hate to ask this question, but my internet was down until like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, we will send. No, this Robert says the scanner will be badass. I hope so. Can I change over from Ninja platform? Lee, you have to speak to Rory. I mean, you know, we've got a million questions like that. I really got to defer to him. Greg, thanks for your phone number. If anyone's having any trouble on the order form, just give us your number. We'll make sure that you get a copy. And remember, if you give us your name and number, we'll make sure you get the full package. We're going to start setting it up tomorrow. We'll get you in, Salvador. I can't look at the number now, Shalendra, but I would relax, okay? No, you don't need Ninja to use this, Tom. This is a standalone Thinkorswim system. You need this is no relation to Ninja Trader at all. This is its own standalone. And this is the only thing, this data feed that I'm getting is my own Thinkorswim data feed. You need nothing else. All you need is a Thinkorswim account. And I split this off from my actual Thinkorswim account because it's putting up all my positions. It's putting up how much money I got in there, which, and I got to keep something private. So actually I can scroll up here. Hey, Terry, if we already have full access, all indicators for upgrade lifetime packages for Ninja, the TOS is not a free upgrade or add-on, Terry. It's a completely different system on a completely different platform, but you would get a discount. Okay, Jeffrey. All right, hang on. Jeffrey, I'll have him call you. He's taking an order, but I'll have him call you in 5 minutes. I will send the recording link. Recording's going to everybody. Okay, so don't worry about that. No, it's recorded. Yeah, you got it. You got it. I'm telling you, Sharon, it's just that a lot of people are, I mean, seriously, there are over 300 people in the webinar, and a lot of people are trying to buy. Norman, I have not really compared them. I really have not. Norman's asking me about one of our NinjaTrader software packages in comparison, and honest to God, I have not. You can on Sierra. No, Tom. We just, I mean, you know what? We had Sierra charts, perfect version. You know, I would have to have 2 full-time programmers in here to keep Sierra and Ninja up and running and updated and upgraded. So we just kind of we had to let Sierra go by the wayside. But Thinkorswim is a huge commitment, and we're not only gonna maintain it, we're gonna upgrade it, add on to it, add a scanner, add Revolution Signal. We're gonna keep moving with it. Okay, I think we're about done. Can you please repeat the components of the RLT assessment and which higher timeframes? It's the bias, Robert. It's this line. Yeah, Dan, I mean, ACY, what a move. I don't know what caused that. But let me tell you, the software called it before the stock moved up a cent. The oscillator went from under 20 to lock at 100 on totally sideways movement on the stock. I mean, there was your hint that, I mean, these indicators lead price. And you saw that one of the trades on Netflix, the biggest one that was there, it's totally sideways moving on Netflix. Oscillator goes from under 20, locks at 100, price is moving sideways, and then explodes to the upside. Jack, you have to call Rory about that, but it's possible. It doesn't, Dan. Right now, there's no arrow, and it doesn't give an audio or visual alert yet, but we're going to add that. Right now, you're going to have to use your trading acumen, but it's such an easy system to see. I mean, it's very, very intuitive. I think it does want for a scanner, but we're going to be adding that extremely shortly. I think you're going to want to follow 25 or 30 stocks. But let me tell you, if you pick 2 or 3 very volatile stocks and you just want to buy an option on the stock, I think you're going to get multiple trades in a day. I mean, this is, you know, you can use this on a longer time frame for a buy and hold for 2 months, 3 months. But the way I had it set for 2 minutes, it's a short term. I missed the presentation. Everyone will get the recording. Okay, William. Rory, I need you to reinsert the PayPal link. Yeah. William, Rory's going to put the PayPal link again in the chat box. You should see it. Would like to know if I'm in the first was really slow. Don't worry, Mark. I mean, I know the site was slow, and you know, when a lot of people called us, so we're not going to shaft anyone. Don't worry about it. Just relax about it, okay? No, we'll check it out, Dan, for sure. Why was the chart of ACY that you showed the second time different from you showed? It should, I don't, it was the same. I'll put it up again. Shouldn't it changed? Aero Century Corp. Now the only thing I got to do that's the same chart. I mean, I can open it up, but I'm telling you that is the exact same chart. Nothing changed. See? And there's absolutely nothing here that changed. There's your sideways movement. There's your oscillator rising. There's price sideways. There's your RL trend. There's your bias. Exact same chart. No, absolutely no change. Now it's okay. Sergio will fix that. That's a minor issue. Will you be alternating between the new compass and no? We're going to stay where we are, George. Yes. Good. I'm glad it's working. We'll let you know, Brett. We'll let you know. Just hang in there, Salvador. The page is slow. It will turn over and you will get your order in. If not, just, if we have your name and number, Rory will call you and make sure. And I'm going to take into account the fact that the sign-up process was slow. I really am going to do that. I don't want to, because the person who was the 40th person may have tried to be the third person to buy, but just couldn't get in because the link was so slow. So don't worry about it, okay? Don't Salvador, I said, do not worry. Trust me. Listen, we're really good guys. Don't worry about it. Repeat, yes. Yeah, there's a discount, Abbe. Here in Canada, having access. Yeah, I don't, George, I would check Canada about Thinkorswim. Because I don't want to walk you into a purchase that you can't use. So I would check, I would just call Thinkorswim. I know the number. It's 1-800-934-4448. I've been dialing it for 23 years. It's 1-800-934-4448. Just dial them and ask them. They're very, very nice. And what I really like about them is they have 24/7 customer support. If I get a brainstorm at 3 o'clock in the morning, a brain infarct, I can call them up. I will make sure, Salvador. Okay, I promise you. Okay, Jim, I'm only not going to do it simply because of time. If you want me to, if you want to, I will do it with you personally. We'll teach you all that, Salvador. I mean, remember, this is what you would have seen. We're not, we're on the right edge here. But the market's really slow right now. But you would have seen this. And I mean, the best place to have taken your order could have been this candle or this candle. This is your best candle because it's sitting right on support. The tighter you trade to support, when you take a trade, the better. This is an up candle, and you have everything. You have sideways movement, the gear locked at 100, bias green, trend line green. It's above the EMA, which is above the 50. I mean, this is a perfectly configured entry. When you see that, jump on it. That will explode, that will move to the upside, and it will move to the upside sharply because you can see the gear is picking up, intensifying buying pressure, even without price movement. And I'm gonna work with everyone. I mean, we're gonna do a master class. I mean, we're gonna go through everything. So don't worry about that. Yes, in the near future, we're gonna add entry arrows. So on a perfect entry, you would get a revolution signal telling you to take the trade long. We're gonna add all that stuff. All right, hang on one second. Well, you can't get both versions, Salvador. I mean, you have to pay extra. This is just for the Thinkorswim version. Mark, if I already have NT backed, yes, you do, because Sunkum, because it's a new platform. I mean, we work really hard on these indicators. They're all in a completely different language. I mean, this isn't an upgrade or an add-on. This is a new platform. So, you know, owners of the full software on NinjaTrader now will definitely get a discount, but it's not free, because I mean, Sergio spent hundreds of hours on this platform to get this thing running like this. And let me tell you, Thinkorswim is there's very few third-party add-ons on Thinkorswim because it's not easy to work with. Salvador, don't worry about it. We'll discuss that. I'm telling you, I hear what you want to do, and I'm sure we'll let you do it. It's my pleasure, Gary. Thank you so much for your number, Arthur. Yeah, I personally like the Forex on a 2-minute. If somebody wants to see an hour, I'm going to show it to them. I've seen a lot of systems, and this is fantastic. Great presentation. Thanks. I'm thinking, great, Tom, thank you so much. And I tried to be as transparent. Listen, there's very few people that are going to even bother acknowledging the audience and just throw tickers in. I mean, when I watch a million webinars, I never see that happen. They will show you a chart, work off the chart, simply ignore all the questions, and give you a buy price. I mean, you know, I'm just taking tickers out of the blue and throwing them up and showing you the entries. I mean, this could have been horrifically configured for all I know. I don't even know what the stock is, but it just configured perfectly. I mean, I think I wouldn't proffer the system unless I thought it was really great. You don't need it. You don't need it, George. Tomorrow morning, Sergio is going to go through everyone, and he's going to configure actually for you. Do more than just send you the link. My pleasure. Okay. Thank you so much, Jim. You know what, Gary? I'll have Rory make a video on how to configure the software on every time frame. Just give him 24 hours and you'll have it. I think it's a really reasonable video to make, and we'll have it. So listen, Jim, I know you want to go to other time frames. I'd be more than happy to do it, but we're now at 2.5 hours on a 1-hour webinar. So I mean, it went way over, but I wanted you to be well acquainted with the software and see how it works. Hey, Dan. No, Dan, you are 100% correct. I agree with you. And we're eventually going to get to TradeStation. I'm sorry, Jim, but if it wasn't 2.5 hours in, I would definitely do it. And I appreciate all of your compliments. I really thank you. So listen, I look forward to working with you. We're going to do a master class. I want you to learn this software. I know you can make money and trade it profitably. Futures, Forex, or stocks. You can call me anytime. I will help you. I'm very accessible, as is Rory, as is Sergio. We have 2 other people, but they're not involved in trading. We're all here to help you. And I thank you so much for your time. And to all of you who came aboard, thank you so much for your trust. I want to let you know that I am I am going to teach you how to use it. Happy New Year. We're going to do a master class right after the New Year. Okay, I mean, we're a little stuck between now. It just so happens Thursday's a half day, and then Friday, obviously, we're closed. It's New Year's. So we only got 2 more days. Right after the first of the year, I will do a 3-hour masterclass. And if you need more time, I'll do another 3-hour masterclass. I want you all to learn the software cold. I'm going to start from scratch, build the platform, and you're going to start. It's going to become almost like ingrained in your brain. Okay. And Jim says, I always keep my promises, and I try to, Jim. When I tell you we're going to have master classes on this till you're blue in the face, I mean it. And Jim knows I schedule them for 1 hour, and they go 2 hours and 45 minutes. I want you to learn, and I want you to become a successful trader. We're a small community of traders, and we are a family. And it's my job to make you all money, and let's let all the other retail traders deal with it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Sergio will be in touch tomorrow, and I will probably see you right after the first of the year, but we'll get you up and running and moving. Thank you, Jim. All of you, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.